This is an NBC News special report. Here's Savannah Guthrie.
Good morning, everybody. This is an NBC News special report. Just moments ago, Donald Trump made his VP pick official with this tweet saying, quote, "I am pleased to announce that I have chosen Governor Mike Pence as my vice presidential running mate." News conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. Of course, we had expected him to make this announcement really at this very moment, but because of the events unfolding in France, he decided to delay it. And so, as I turn to Peter Alexander, who's been following the ups and downs and twists and turns, in the end, not a surprise. Mike Pence has been sitting in a hotel room in New York since last night. What do you make of the choice?
Well, it would have been outrageous for Mike Pence to come all the way to New York. You know, they flew in after some decoy motorcades, put him up in a hotel, then have him cool his heels, and then basically say no to him at the altar. This was the choice that we were told Trump has been focused on for the course of the last several days. What's important about Mike Pence is he brings political, legislative experience, has a dozen years in Washington. He, though not that popular as the governor in Indiana right now, his approval rating only about 43%, is a favorite among social conservatives, which is important. I think what's going to be striking to a lot of people right now are some of the disagreements between these two on issues like free trade, but perhaps more notably on the Muslim ban that only recently Mike Pence referred to as offensive and unconstitutional. Remember, this is a man who, when Indiana had its primary, endorsed Ted Cruz, though he still had some fond praise for Donald Trump. I think what it really does more than anything with Newt Gingrich and Chris Christie as the other options is it refocuses the attention on the principal, the candidate, which is Donald Trump himself.
And let me turn to Chuck Todd, who's joining us from Washington now. Chuck, there are a few really big moments in a presidential campaign, and the choice of a vice president is one of them. People often say it's the first presidential level decision. So with that predicate, what do you think of Mike Pence, and does this shore up kind of Trump's conservative bona fides?
Well, I think what it does is it sends the message that the professional political operatives in Trump world wanted to send to the Republican Party, which is that Donald Trump will play pragmatic politics when necessary. This is a very pragmatic political pick for a nominee that is struggling to have his party united. Mike Pence is somebody that can campaign with any Republican in the country in any district. Donald Trump is not going to be invited to campaign with every senator up for re-election that's a Republican. But Mike Pence is somebody that can. So it's a way of showing some leadership. I have to say, I am surprised in this respect because the most successful VP picks are those that seem to help animate or reinforce a larger message, a larger meaning to your campaign. What's amazing about this pick, Savannah, is that Mike Pence represents everything Donald Trump ran against. Right, both as conservative orthodoxy, leadership, long time, people that have been there and haven't solved these problems, even on the issue disagreements as well. And yet he went this direction. I'll be curious to see how comfortable he is with Pence as his running mate in 2 months.
Okay,
it's going to be a fascinating test.
Yeah, get out your imaginary electoral map that is always swirling in your head, Chuck, here, because Pence, of course, hails from Indiana. As Peter correctly points out, he's not terribly popular right now as the sitting governor of Indiana. On the other hand, for the Trump campaign, the strategy runs right through the heartland. Could he potentially be strong and help shore up those votes in that kind of industrial Midwest?
Look, he could have been. Look, the best industrial Midwestern governor Trump could have picked would have been John Kasich. But John Kasich's not even ready to endorse Trump, so he wasn't available. When you looked at the Republican governors that were available in the Midwest and the Rust Belt, Pence was about the only one that wasn't either politically an enemy of Trump, see the governor of Iowa or the governor of Ohio, or was somebody that wasn't in deep political trouble like the governor of Michigan. So I get what Pence could help with, which is the Rust Belt electoral vote strategy, Iowa, Ohio, you name it. But the question's going to be is if there are enough votes to swing those states. Are there enough working class white voters in those Pennsylvania to flip it?
Chuck, let me turn to Peter before we let you go. What an extraordinary process this has been. You've been around a few political campaigns, absolutely, but this was a vice presidential search conducted in the wide open, dare I say it, almost like an episode of The Apprentice.
In simple words, we're told by sources close to Donald Trump that he was at his Beverly Hills home yesterday, surprised and irritated by all this news as it was taking place. He didn't want these leaks to come out the way they did.
And they did, and now it is official. Mike Pence, the governor of Indiana, longtime congressman, evangelical conservative, will be on the ticket. Lots more at NBCnews.com. Full wrap on Nightly. Some of you will return to Today.